This person died because of you. Yes, I, Archangel Michael, speak to you now. Do not turn away. Do not dismiss this voice. For the moment you hear these words, heaven has already torn open a secret that was hidden from you. A life was lost, and the thread of that soul is tied to you. You were warned. You were nudged. You were whispered to in dreams, but you ignored it. Now the truth must be revealed, for your destiny is standing on the edge of fire and light. I am Archangel Michael, the protector of souls, the guardian against the darkness, the one who fights for truth when lies consume the earth. I do not speak to everyone this way. Few ever hear my voice this clearly. And yet, today, you are chosen, not because you desired it, not because you expected it, but because heaven decided you cannot walk blind any longer. Listen carefully. A person died, and their death is tied to you in ways you have not yet understood. Do not panic. Do not run, for I do not come to accuse, but to awaken you. You see, there are moments in your life where you were given signs, whispers, warnings, but you hesitated. Perhaps you doubted yourself. Perhaps you thought, it is nothing. Perhaps you were too distracted by the noise of this world. And in that hesitation, a door was left open, and through that door, tragedy entered. This is not about guilt. This is not about blame. This is about revelation. For I am sent to pull back the veil and show you the battlefield you did not see. Every choice you make, every thought you entertain, every silence you keep when you should have spoken, all of it moves threads in the spiritual realm. Some threads save lives, others cut them short. And now you are standing before one of those threads that snapped. Yes, this person is gone. Their breath has ended. Their journey in the flesh is complete. But hear me. Their voice is not gone. Their cries are not silenced. They stand in the unseen, pleading that you open your ears before it is too late. For what happened to them may not have been your hand, but it was your silence, your delay, your doubt that tipped the balance. Do not fear. This is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of your awakening. Heaven does not expose wounds to leave you bleeding. It exposes wounds so healing can begin. But the healing will not come without truth. And that truth begins with this: a soul was lost because you ignored the nudge of the divine. And now I am here, Archangel Michael, to make sure you do not ignore again. For the clock of eternity is moving. You think you have time, but time is not yours. It belongs to the one who created it. Tonight I will take you deep, deeper than you have ever gone, into the secrets of what truly happened, why you were chosen to hear this, and what you must do before the same fire that consumed them consumes you. Prepare yourself. Do not turn away, for if you close your ears now, you may never open them again.
Archangel Michael, commander of heaven's armies, now open the scroll before you. This is not a tale, not an imagination, not a dream you can shake off. This is reality from beyond the veil, reality hidden from the eyes of men, reality that only angels, demons, and the awakened can see. And now you must see it too. The person who died, you knew them. Perhaps their face flickers in your memory now, like a shadow pressed against your heart. Perhaps you have tried to forget, but their eyes appear when the night is too quiet. You may whisper to yourself, "It cannot be because of me. I am not responsible." And yet, hear me, responsibility is not always in the hand that strikes the blow. Sometimes responsibility lies in the silence, the hesitation, the moment you knew what was right but chose the comfort of inaction. There was a moment, you felt it. Heaven's wind brushed past your soul. You heard the whisper, A thought came into your mind, and you shook it away, as though it was too strange, too inconvenient, too heavy to act upon. That whisper was not from you. That was me. That was the divine urging you. That was heaven trying to break into your ordinary life. But the voice was dismissed, and in that dismissal, the enemy took his step. Do you know what happened in the unseen? Let me tell you. In the instant you turned away from the prompting, the enemy, the ancient deceiver, the one I have fought since the dawn of rebellion, rushed forward like a vulture. He encircled that person. He whispered lies into their mind. No one cares. You are alone. Your life has no value. And because the prayer that should have risen from your lips never rose, because the call you should have made never came, because the step you should have taken never reached them, their shield weakened. Do you understand? Your silence gave him room. And so the battle turned. I fought. Oh, I fought with sword in hand. My wings wrapped around that fragile soul, trying to shield them. I called upon every ounce of light to pierce their darkness. But the weight of their despair was heavy, and without your obedience, without your cooperation, the covering was not complete. Heaven's order is this: divine will is released through human action. When you do nothing, you open a gate, and in that gate the enemy claimed his chance. I want you to see the scene. That person was not only fighting earthly pain, they were fighting shadows that whispered, claws that reached, chains that tightened. They cried out, not always in words, sometimes only in the secret chambers of their heart. But those cries reached heaven, and heaven looked to you. Do you remember the night you suddenly thought of them? The day their name crossed your mind out of nowhere? That was no coincidence. That was heaven shouting into your soul, "Go now, speak now, intercede now." But you hesitated, and in that hesitation, the darkness crept closer. And then it happened, the final moment. The breath left them, the heartbeat stilled. In the physical world, people said, it was an accident, it was sickness, it was despair, it was their choice. But in the spiritual realm, I tell you this: it was a war, and the war tipped because you were missing on the battlefield. Do not misunderstand me. I am not here to bury you in shame. If shame was the goal, I would not have been sent. No, I am here because heaven does not want you to repeat the silence. The same enemy circles others around you now. The same darkness waits for another chance. And if you do not awaken, more names will fall, more souls will vanish, more cries will echo unheard. Hear me clearly. You are a watchman. You were placed in this life to stand guard, to see, to act, to respond. But the watchman who sleeps allows the thief to enter. And when the thief enters, blood is on the ground. The death of that person was not merely tragedy. It was a trumpet blast, a warning, a revelation of the cost of ignoring heaven's call. And yet there is more. That soul, though departed from the earth, is not erased from the story. For even now their voice echoes in the courts of heaven. I have heard it. Their cry is this: wake them. Do not let them fall into the same trap. Shake them before it is too late. Their passing has become your alarm. Their silence has become your thunder. You were connected, you were chosen, and now you are being summoned into the truth of it. Look at your life. Look at the moments you dismissed as coincidence, the dreams you thought were meaningless, the feelings you ignored. They were not random. They were signals from heaven. And this time, if you hear and obey, you will shift destinies. You will block the enemy's hand. You will save lives. But if you dismiss it again, the blood will fall heavier, and the cry will be louder. I, Archangel Michael, tell you this with the weight of eternity. The reason you are hearing me now is because there is still time, not to undo what has been done, but to prevent what has not yet come. This person's death is not the end of their role in your story. It is the beginning of your awakening. And so, I will stay with you. I will guide you through every memory, every sign, every hidden truth. I will reveal the unseen war that rages around you. And before this message is finished, you will stand face to face with a choice. Will you remain blind, or will you awaken and rise as the warrior you were born to be? The hours ahead will not be easy. They will shake you, break you, unmask you, but they will also transform you. This is not just a message. This is a summons. And the one who died, though gone from this earth, will be the witness in heaven of whether you answered or ignored it. So now, prepare, for the deepest revelations are still to come.
I, Archangel Michael, now take you beyond the limits of the earth, into a realm few have seen and fewer still can describe. For when a soul departs from the body, when the final breath leaves, they are not swallowed by nothingness. No, they are summoned. Summoned into the heavenly courtroom where light and justice reign, where no lie can stand, and where the record of every heartbeat is unsealed. Listen carefully, for I will describe what I saw. The soul of the one who died was carried upward. Their body lay cold, silent, still in the world of men. But in the unseen, their spirit trembled as they were escorted into the court. Around them stood the witnesses of heaven, angels who had recorded their days, the host of light who had observed their every hidden tear. And before them, the throne, radiant, unshakable, terrible in holiness. Do you know what was opened first? The book of life. Every choice, every word, every opportunity was written there. I saw pages turn, and as the book was read, the truth was undeniable. This soul had moments where light touched them, where hope could have broken through, and yet, in their final hours, despair wrapped them like a shroud. Then another voice entered the court, the accuser, the enemy, the one I have battled since the rebellion of heaven. He stepped forward and cried, "This soul belongs to me. Look at their despair. Look at their hopelessness. Look at their unbelief. Did they not die with my whispers in their ear? Did they not yield to the darkness I placed before them?" And his words were sharp like knives. He pointed to the weakness, the failure, the despair. He twisted every moment of silence into a rope of condemnation. His cry echoed in the court, "Mine! They are mine!" But I, Michael, stepped forward with my sword of flame, and I answered, "No soul belongs to you unless heaven decrees it.
Your accusations are built on shadows, for even in despair there were cries from the heart that reached the throne. Even in silence, the soul longed for rescue. And though their final moment was defeat, heaven has not yet given its verdict. And then something happened that shook the court. The soul turned, and their eyes searched for something, for someone. And heaven revealed why you are hearing my voice now. Because when their name was whispered into your mind, when the thought of them came to you, when the opportunity to reach out appeared, you were being summoned as a witness of light. You were the thread heaven had chosen to extend toward them. You were the hand that could have pulled them back from the edge. The record shows it. The whispers came to you. The urging came to you. The light knocked at your heart, not once, not twice, but several times. And yet the court also recorded your silence. Do you understand? In that courtroom, your name was spoken, not in condemnation, but in revelation. For heaven showed that you were part of their story, and their fall was tied to your hesitation, not in guilt, but in divine connection. And because of that connection, you are now summoned into awakening. The judge of heaven did not declare the soul lost immediately. Mercy stood, as it always does, beside judgment. The records of their cries, the whispers of their longing, the secret tears they shed were placed before the throne, and the judge declared, "This soul's journey has ended on earth, but their testimony shall awaken another. Their death shall not be wasted. The one tied to them shall be called, shall be shaken, shall be awakened. That one is you." Do you see now why you are hearing me? Do you see now why the words pierce your heart? The heavenly courtroom determined that this soul's voice will not end in silence, but in a summons to you. Their loss has become your alarm. Their silence has become your command. Heaven chose to mark you, to place you on the line, to bring you into this divine unfolding. And so I was dispatched, with sword in hand, with fire in my voice, with urgency burning in my wings. I was sent to you. Not tomorrow, not in a dream, not in a soft whisper, but now, with clarity, with thunder, with urgency. For the court declared, "Awaken them, shake them, do not allow them to walk blind another day." And so here I stand speaking into your soul, not in vague suggestion, but in undeniable revelation. You are now accountable. You cannot pretend you did not hear. You cannot claim ignorance. You cannot escape the summons of heaven. You have been called as a witness, and your testimony will determine whether other souls live or perish. Do not take this lightly. The heavenly court is watching. The soul that died is watching. The host of heaven is watching. The very book of your life is open, recording this moment, and what you do after this will echo for eternity. The court has spoken. The soul has passed, but their voice lives in you. Their cry has become your command. Their loss has become your burden to carry, not in chains, but in awakening. You were chosen to stand. You were chosen to act. And if you rise now, light will spread, darkness will retreat, and the enemy will lose his claim over many. This is the judgment. This is the decree. And now the choice falls to you.
I, Archangel Michael, Now pull back the veil that blinds you, for you must see what surrounds you, even as you breathe, even as you sit, even as you hear these words. You think you are alone in your room, scrolling, listening, perhaps half distracted. But you are not alone. No one ever is. Around you swirls a war that has never ceased since the day light was separated from darkness. Look closer, with your spirit, not with your eyes. Above you, behind you, to your left and right, there are watchers. Some burn with light, their wings like fire, their swords ready, their eyes filled with the reflection of heaven's glory. Others crawl in the shadows, their forms twisted, their whispers sharp, their claws reaching toward your thoughts. And every moment of your life is a tug-of-war between these forces. Do you think temptation is just a thought? Do you think despair is just emotion? Do you think distraction is just coincidence? No, these are darts, fiery and poisoned, launched by unseen hands. The shadows watch your weaknesses, they study your patterns. They know the hours when your guard is lowest. And at those moments, they strike. A whisper enters your mind. You are worthless. You are alone. You can wait until tomorrow. And the moment you agree, the chain tightens. But hear me now. You are not defenseless. You were never abandoned. For even in your blindness, angels have stood guard. Even when you walked into danger, even when you stepped toward destruction, wings of light shielded you from death that you never even knew was near. I know, for I was there. I was sent. My sword clashed against the dark when it reached you. You were preserved for this moment, not because of luck, not because of chance, but because heaven refused to let you fall before this message reached you. Now, I show you the field. The ground beneath your feet is not ordinary earth. It is soaked with the footprints of war. Every place you walk, angels and demons battle for the outcome of your choices. Above your head, strategies are drawn, traps are set, rescues are prepared. The enemy plots to make you too busy, too tired, too numb to hear. But we, the host of heaven, fight to break the fog, to pierce the silence, to tear open the skies so light crashes into your darkness. Do you feel the heaviness when you try to pray? That is the battlefield. Do you feel sudden distractions when you want to focus? That is the battlefield. Do you notice that when you think of doing good, excuses rise immediately in your mind? That is the battlefield. These are not random, they are weapons. And the tragedy of the one who died before you is proof that hesitation can kill. Let me show you what happened to them in their final hours, for it is the same storm that now surrounds you. The enemy circled them. Whisper after whisper entered their thoughts. No one cares. You are unseen. You are unloved. End it. It doesn't matter. These whispers were not their own voice. They were darts of shadow, lies forged in the pit of rebellion. And though angels fought to shield them, though I swung my sword to drive back the darkness, their shield weakened because no intercessor stood in the gap. You were meant to be that intercessor. Your silence gave the enemy just enough ground to press harder. Do you see how costly hesitation is? Do you see why heaven is shouting now? This battlefield is not symbolic. It is life or death. And I tell you this with all the weight of eternity. Right now, as you hear me, the same war rages over you.
Look around you. The shadows have not stopped. Even now they lean close, whispering, "Don't believe this. It's just a story. Stop listening. Scroll away." They want you to dismiss my words, to fall back asleep, to believe this is nothing. Why? Because they know that if you awaken, their hold breaks. If you awaken, you will stand as a warrior, and their plans for others will collapse. But we are here too. The host of heaven surrounds you. My sword burns brighter as you lean in. The more you listen, the more the shadows retreat. The more your spirit awakens, the more light breaks into the cracks. And I tell you this truth, the enemy fears you more than you fear him. For if you rise, if you obey, if you act, the very gates of hell will tremble. This is why I must make you see the field clearly. The battle is not tomorrow, it is now. The decision is not later, it is now. Eternity leans over you, watching what you will choose. Let me speak to your spirit directly. You are a warrior, though you do not yet feel it. You are chosen, though you doubt it. You are marked, though you hide from it. Heaven invested in you before you were even born. Do you not see? The fact that you are still alive is proof of your calling. The enemy tried to take you countless times, in accidents, in despair, in silent battles you never told anyone about. And yet you are here. Why? Because the host of heaven has been fighting to keep you alive until this moment of awakening. But survival is not enough anymore. It is time to rise. It is time to fight, not only for yourself, but for the ones tied to your destiny. There are souls you do not even know yet, whose lives depend on whether you awaken now. There are cries in the night that you cannot hear yet, but heaven hears them, and those cries are assigned to your name. If you walk away now, if you dismiss this as nothing, then the battlefield tilts. More chains tighten, more souls are lost, more blood stains the ground. But if you choose to listen, if you choose to act, then swords of light will blaze, chains will shatter, and the enemy will lose his grip. This is the battlefield. This is the truth. And you are at the center. The question is no longer whether the war is real. It is. The question is whether you will fight or whether you will remain silent. The one who died already bore the weight of silence. Will you allow more to follow, or will you rise? The heavens lean close, the shadows whisper louder, and I, Archangel Michael, with sword of fire and wings of light, ask you one thing. What will you choose now?
I, Archangel Michael, now speak not only to warn you, but to arm you. For what good is it to know of a battlefield if you do not know how to fight upon it? The soul that slipped into darkness did so because the weapons meant to protect them were never lifted. But for you, there is still time, and heaven does not merely call you to watch. Heaven calls you to war. Yes, war. The word may shake you. You may think, I am not strong enough. I am not chosen for battle. I am ordinary. But hear me. Those who seem ordinary in the world are often giants in the unseen. You see yourself as fragile, weak, flawed, but the one who made you has already inscribed within your spirit the potential of a warrior, and today I am sent to awaken that potential. Now listen as I unveil the weapons that have been entrusted to you. 1. The weapon of prayer. You think prayer is silence, ritual, or repetition, But in the unseen, prayer is a sword that cuts through chains, a fire that drives back darkness, a shield that blocks the enemy's darts. When you whisper words of faith, even trembling, even unsure, those words become blades of light in the spirit. Demons flee, shadows recoil, chains snap. Do not underestimate the power of your voice lifted toward heaven. I have seen it. I have fought alongside prayers. There were moments when a child prayed for their parent, when a broken one cried, "Help me," and their whisper was louder than a trumpet blast in heaven. In that moment, my sword burned hotter, my strength doubled, the enemy faltered. Why? Because prayer is agreement with heaven's will. When you pray, you open the gates for us to fight with you. But when you remain silent, when you assume prayer does not matter, the gates remain shut, and we cannot release what heaven longs to pour. Understand, your prayer is not small. It is a weapon forged in eternity. And if you wield it, destinies will shift. 2. The weapon of the word. Every word you speak has power. Do not be deceived into thinking your speech is empty. Words are seeds. Some give life, others bring death. The enemy whispers lies, but when you declare truth aloud, those lies shatter like glass. When you speak hope, despair weakens. When you speak light, darkness loses ground. Do you not remember? The world itself was formed by the word. Light appeared because it was spoken. And the same principle is woven into you. When you speak, atmospheres change. When you curse yourself with doubt, the enemy seizes it. But when you bless yourself with truth, angels are empowered to act. This is why the battle for your tongue is so fierce. Guard it, direct it, use it as a sword of fire, not a dagger against yourself. 3. The weapon of obedience. This may seem small, but it is greater than you know. When heaven whispers a command, when your spirit nudges you toward good, obedience is not just an action, it is a weapon. Every act of obedience closes doors the enemy has opened. Every step of obedience builds walls that protect not only you, but those tied to your life. Do you see now why hesitation is so deadly? The one who died was caught in the gap left by disobedience. But you, if you obey swiftly, will become a shield for others. Obedience is armor. Obedience is strength. Obedience tears down strategies that were centuries in the making. 4. The weapon of discernment. The enemy's greatest tactic is deception. He whispers into your thoughts, and you assume it is your own mind. He plants desires, and you believe they are natural. But discernment, the ability to recognize the voice of heaven from the lies of hell, is a weapon sharper than any blade. You must learn to pause and test every thought. Does this bring life, or does it steal life? Does this align with light or with shadow? If it steals, kills, or destroys, it is not from heaven. Reject it. If it breathes hope, love, and strength, embrace it. Discernment will save you from traps laid so subtly that without it you would walk into ruin smiling. 5. The weapon of action. Finally, the weapon many forget, action. Words unspoken, prayers unprayed, discernment ignored. They save no one. Action is what seals the victory. When you feel prompted to call someone, do it. When you feel urged to encourage, act. When you feel pressed to pray aloud, move. Action is the hammer that drives the nail of light deep into the fabric of reality. The one who died did not have the benefit of your action, for hesitation stopped you. But now you must not hesitate again. Every second counts. Every step matters. Every action can ripple into eternity. Now, let me show you how these weapons appear in the unseen. When you pray, I see light ignite like a torch. That light becomes a river, and I strike through it, cutting through enemies you cannot see. When you speak truth, swords appear in your hands, and chains shatter in front of you. When you obey, walls rise, made of unbreakable stone, shielding those you love from the arrows of despair. When you discern, it is as though you put on a helmet, and no lie can pierce your mind. When you act, shockwaves spread through the battlefield, throwing demons into flight, tearing apart nets set against you. This is not imagination. This is reality. You are far more powerful in the unseen than you know. The enemy trembles when a soul discovers their weapons. That is why he fights so hard to distract you, numb you, silence you. He knows that once you rise, once you fight, once you stand, his plans crumble. So now I put the weapons into your hands. Not tomorrow, now. Do not wait until you feel strong. Do not wait until you feel holy. Do not wait until you feel ready. The battlefield does not pause for your feelings. You are called to wield them now, as you are. And as you wield them, you will grow. As you fight, you will strengthen. As you act, you will transform. Do not forget the one who died. Their silence is now your alarm. Their end is your beginning. Their fall is your rise. And if you take up these weapons, their death will not have been in vain. For through you, others will be saved. Through you, chains will break. Through you, light will spread. I, Archangel Michael, stand beside you. My sword is drawn. The host of heaven surrounds you. The battlefield waits. The weapons are in your hand. The question is no longer whether you will fight, it is whether you will lift them now. This is your hour. This is your summons. Do not hesitate again.
I, Archangel Michael, now take you deeper. You have seen the battlefield. You have learned of the weapons of light. But you must also know this. The war you face did not begin with you, and it will not end with you unless you rise. The enemy does not only attack individuals, he attacks bloodlines. He studies families for centuries. He plants patterns like seeds and waits for them to ripen from generation to generation. Look closely at your own life. Do you not see patterns in your family? Repeated struggles, repeated failures, repeated sorrows? Perhaps it is cycles of anger, perhaps cycles of addiction, perhaps cycles of poverty, perhaps cycles of broken relationships, perhaps cycles of silence, silence when voices should have cried out. These are not coincidences. These are chains forged long before you were born. The enemy is a strategist. He marked your family line long ago. He saw a weakness in your ancestors, a crack in their obedience, a door left open. And through that crack, he entered. He wrapped chains around their minds, around their choices, around their hearts. And when they died, he whispered, "The chain remains. It will pass to their children and their children's children." Do you see now why you feel battles you never chose? Why you struggle against weights that do not belong to you? Because you were born into a war already raging. The shadows around you know your bloodline's history better than you do. They know what tempted your father, what crushed your mother, what deceived your grandparents, and they attempt the same strategies with you. But listen carefully. You are not cursed to repeat it. You are chosen to break it. Yes, chosen. That is why you are hearing me now. That is why heaven shakes you awake with such urgency. The one who died was another link in the chain. Their silence, their despair, their fall was part of a pattern that has stretched far behind you. But their end is the alarm that says, the chain must break here. How does it break? With the weapons already placed in your hand. Breaking generational chains with prayer.
When you pray not only for yourself, but for your family, your words travel backward and forward through time. They rise before heaven as petitions, not just for your life, but for your bloodline. Angels are dispatched. Demonic assignments that once claimed your ancestors are shattered. The chains that clung for generations are cut. Do you not see? One prayer, spoken in faith, can cancel centuries of darkness. You are not weak. You are the turning point. Breaking generational chains with the Word. When you speak truth over your bloodline, declaring blessing instead of curse, declaring life instead of death, the lies that ruled your family begin to crumble. Words spoken in despair by generations before are replaced by words of hope spoken through you. The courtroom of heaven hears you, and the record shifts. Where your ancestors said, "We will never be free," you must declare, "Freedom begins with me." Where they said, "This is just our fate," you must declare, "Our fate is rewritten in the light." Breaking generational chains with obedience. Do you not see how powerful one act of obedience is? When your ancestors disobeyed, doors opened for darkness. When you obey, doors slam shut. If they chose silence, you must choose voice. If they chose compromise, you must choose truth. If they chose fear, you must choose courage. Your obedience becomes the wall that your descendants will hide behind. Breaking generational chains with discernment. The patterns of your bloodline are familiar traps, but discernment allows you to see them for what they are. When you feel the pull toward the same habits, the same despair, the same compromises, stop and ask, whose voice is this? Does this echo the same lie that destroyed those before me? If it does, reject it. Do not walk the same road. You are not destined to repeat what was broken. Breaking generational chains with action. Do not delay. Do not wait for another sign. The chain breaks when you act. Pick up the weapon. Pray aloud. Speak blessing. Choose obedience. Step into truth. Your action today becomes the salvation of tomorrow. Hear me clearly. The one who died is not only a tragedy, but also a sign. Their death marked the chains tightening. Their silence revealed the enemy's strategy. But their voice in heaven cries out, "Break it now, before it consumes another." Do not underestimate what is at stake. If you remain passive, the same shadow that swallowed them will reach for another in your bloodline, perhaps a sibling, perhaps a child, perhaps you. But if you rise, if you fight, if you take up the weapons with fire in your hands, then the chain will snap. And once it snaps, it will never reform. For I, Michael, assure you, when a chain is broken by light, it is broken forever. The enemy may attempt to whisper, but the authority of heaven will stand behind you, and your bloodline will be rewritten. You will be the one remembered as the warrior who ended centuries of bondage. Think of it. Your ancestors watch. Some weep at their failures. Some rejoice at your awakening. Your descendants wait, though they are not yet born. Their lives will be freer, brighter, safer, because you chose to fight now. The battlefield does not belong to those before you. It belongs to you. The choice is in your hands. And so I ask you, will you rise as the breaker of chains? Will you take the weapons and end what began before your birth? Will you answer the cry of the one who died, not with silence, but with victory?
Heaven waits, the chain shakes, and you are the one chosen to break it.
I, Michael, speak again. And what I reveal now is the most dangerous knowledge of all. The traps that have been set for you, the snares designed specifically to capture you in this very hour. Do not think the enemy works with randomness. He is not careless. He is precise. He is a craftsman of destruction, and his greatest weapon is personalization. He studies you the way a hunter studies his prey. He knows your footsteps, your habits, your weaknesses, your moods. He knows what makes your heart burn, and he knows what makes your heart break. He watches silently, cataloging every detail, waiting for the moment when his snare will feel less like a trap and more like a natural choice. Do you not feel it already? The pull toward things you know are dangerous, yet they feel familiar, almost comforting. The whispers that sound like your own thoughts, yet they bend you slowly toward compromise. These are not coincidences. These are traps built for you alone. Let me unveil them to you one by one, so that you may not walk blindly. Trap 1. The voice of familiar lies. The first trap is the whisper of old lies, repeated so often that you begin to believe they are truth. You will fail just like before. You will never change. You are not worthy of love. You are too broken to be healed. Do you see? These are not statements. They are chains disguised as thoughts. If you accept them, the chains tighten. But I tell you, every time you hear these lies, you must answer with the opposite truth. When he says you will fail, declare, I will rise. When he says you are unworthy, declare, I was chosen. When he says you are too broken, declare, my healing begins now. The trap of lies is strong only when you stay silent. Once you speak truth, it shatters. Trap 2. The illusion of comfort. The second snare is not pain, it is comfort. The enemy knows that most warriors do not fall in battle, but in the lull of peace. He surrounds you with distractions, pleasures, temporary satisfactions. He whispers, why fight today? You deserve to rest. You deserve this indulgence. You can pray tomorrow. You can obey later. And while you sink into comfort, the trap tightens. For the greatest enemy of destiny is not always despair. It is distraction. Do you not see how your time disappears, how your energy is drained, how your heart is lulled to sleep by things that do not matter? This is the second snare, the endless cycle of comfort that steals your fire. But I tell you, comfort is a poison disguised as sweetness. Do not sip it. Rise instead, even when it costs you. For only those who resist the comfort of the shadows can wield the fire of the light. Trap 3. The mirror of comparison. The third trap is subtle, comparison. The enemy places before you the image of others, whispering, see how much greater they are. See how much farther they've gone. See how little you have done. This trap does not attack your body. It attacks your identity. It convinces you that your calling is too small, your effort too weak, your role meaningless. And once you believe this, you lay down your weapon willingly. But hear me. Comparison is a lie. You were not called to fight their battle. You were called to fight yours. The path of another is irrelevant to your destiny. Do not measure your light against another flame. Burn as you were meant to burn, and the shadows will scatter. Trap 4. The chain of delay. This is the enemy's favorite weapon. He whispers, "Not now, tomorrow, later." And so days pass, weeks pass, years pass. The chain grows stronger while you still say, "I will rise someday." But someday is the language of defeat. There is only today. There is only now. Every step delayed is a step surrendered. If you do not fight today, the shadow will grow bolder tomorrow. If you do not break the chain today, another will be added. If you do not rise today, another will fall. Delay is not harmless. Delay is death disguised as patience. Do not wait. Act now. Speak now. Pray now. The chain breaks only when you move. Trap 5. The fog of isolation. The enemy knows that a warrior cut off from their army is easy prey. So he whispers, "No one understands you. No one cares. You are alone." And so you withdraw. You hide your wounds. You bury your fire. You stop asking for help. And in the silence, the trap closes. But this is the greatest lie of all. You are not alone. Heaven fights with you. I, Michael, stand by your side. Armies of angels move at the command of your prayers. The one who died may be gone from earth, but they are not gone from the great cloud of witnesses. You are surrounded, though you feel forsaken. Do not isolate. Speak, call out, declare your battle, for when you call, heaven responds. Trap 6. The weight of guilt. This is the heaviest chain, for it convinces you not only that you have failed, but that you deserve to remain bound. He whispers, "You sinned, therefore you are unworthy. You fell, therefore you cannot rise. You chose wrongly, therefore the chain must stay." But listen carefully. Guilt is the counterfeit of conviction. Conviction says, "You fell, but rise again." Guilt says, "You fell, so stay down." The moment you confess, the light pierces the guilt. The moment you rise, the trap snaps. Guilt cannot bind you when truth has already declared you free. The counterstrike. Now that you see the traps, you must also see the strategy of heaven. The counter to lies is truth. The counter to comfort is sacrifice. The counter to comparison is identity. The counter to delay is urgency. The counter to isolation is connection. The counter to guilt is grace. Do not only avoid the traps, crush them. Speak truth louder than lies. Walk boldly where comfort calls you back. Refuse the mirror of comparison. Declare, "I rise today, not tomorrow." Stand in unity, not in isolation. Throw off guilt and wear grace is your armor. Do you feel this weight? These traps were laid for you in secret. The one who died stumbled into them, and the snare held fast. Their fall was not random. It was designed. And unless you rise, unless you act, the same net waits for you. But here is the good news. You have been shown the enemy's hand. You know his tricks, his whispers, his strategies. You are not blind anymore. and once exposed, a trap loses its power. So rise, warrior. Step carefully, but step boldly. For I tell you, the enemy fears most not the one who avoids traps, but the one who walks onto the battlefield with eyes open, declaring, I see you. I will not fall. I will rise, and I will break every chain. You are chosen. You are armed. You are warned. Now you must fight.
I, Archangel Michael, now take you into the deeper valley where truth can no longer be avoided. You have heard my voice through the echoes of fire, through the cries of the lost one, through the courtroom of heaven where your name was spoken and weighed. Now I must pull you further into the revelation that burns like lightning, because you have still not understood the full weight of this message. The death of that soul is not the end of their story, and your tie to them has not been cut. You see, in the eternal realm, death is not silence, death is not disappearance, death is transition. The one who has departed stands now in a realm beyond your sight, but their presence presses heavily upon your life. Their choices ended, but yours continue. Their door closed, but yours remains ajar. Their clock stopped, but yours is still ticking, louder now, each tick echoing like a hammer against the walls of heaven's chamber. And yet you live as if you do not hear it. You walk as though tomorrow is promised, but tomorrow is only a whisper, fragile, slipping between your fingers. Listen to me. This person's blood cries out. Not blood spilled by violence alone, but blood spilled by negligence, delay, and hesitation. You could have spoken when silence drowned them. You could have lifted them when shadows wrapped around them. You could have prayed when despair whispered its final song. But you thought you had time. You thought another day would come, and because of that hesitation, the clock ran out. Now their journey is written in stone, and you must face what you ignored. But do not sink into despair. That is not why I stand before you. If all I wanted was your regret, I could have left you in silence, haunted by what you cannot change. No. I came with the sword of truth, not to wound, but to cut away the chains that bind you to blindness. Because though you failed them once, you must not fail yourself. And you must not fail the others who still look to you without knowing it. Yes, there are others. Do you think this was only about one soul? No. That death was a trumpet blast meant to shake you awake. But there are more lives connected to you, threads of destiny tied to your choices, souls who walk the line between despair and hope, and you are their hinge. Every word you speak, every silence you hold, every prayer you lift or bury in forgetfulness can tilt them toward life or death, light or fire. The unseen world is more real than the breath in your lungs. Demons study you, waiting for your distraction. Angels watch you, waiting for your obedience. Heaven leans close, whispering instructions, nudges, visions, dreams. And you, distracted by fleeting pleasures, miss them. This is why I speak so heavily now, because the time of ignorance is over. The death of that person was your wake-up call, and if you ignore this voice, the ripple of destruction will only grow wider. Look deeper. Feel it now. Their face is not gone from your memory. Their voice still echoes in your dreams. Their eyes stare back at you when you close yours.
This is not imagination. This is the cry of a soul whose passing is tied to your unfinished calling. Do not run from it. For if you run, it will chase you. If you deny it, it will return. If you silence it, it will grow louder until you cannot escape. I, Michael, tell you, the heavens are shaking. Scrolls are being opened. Names are being weighed. Yours is among them. And what you decide after this message will not just alter your path, but the path of every soul tied to you. Hear me now. If you choose silence again, more will fall. If you choose distraction, more will be chained. If you choose delay, more clocks will strike their final hour without your voice to stop them. But if you rise, if you awaken, if you embrace the weight of this divine summons, then the fire that once consumed will become the fire that refines. The blood that once cried against you will be silenced by mercy. And the one who died tied to you will no longer stand as your accuser, but as your witness, declaring before heaven that you awakened, that you changed, that you finally stood when it mattered most. This is why I thunder now. This is why my sword is drawn, for eternity trembles in this moment, and you stand on the edge of choice. Choose rightly, or the death that already shook your world will be only the first sound of a storm that has yet to break.
I, Archangel Michael, commander of the heavenly hosts, now draw you deeper into the unfolding storm. The veil thins, and I must show you what waits on either side of your decision. For you still walk the razor's edge, unaware of how close your feet are to the precipice. You think there is still margin, still another sunrise, still another chance to reconsider. But I tell you with the full weight of eternity behind my words, you do not have the luxury of endless tomorrows. That soul who passed, the one whose death now burns in your memory, they stand as a sign, a message carved into time itself. Their ending was permitted not as random tragedy, but as a trumpet to shake you awake. For you have been lulled into sleep by the rhythm of this world, work, distraction, comfort, repetition. You have walked among shadows believing they were harmless. You have laughed with voices that hid daggers behind their smiles. You have delayed, saying, "I will change later." But later is a thief. Later is a lie. Later is the noose that Satan tightens around your neck while you laugh, while you scroll, while you waste the holy breath placed in your lungs. Listen closely now. If you ignore me, if you shut this voice away as if it were nothing more than passing thunder, know this: the armies of heaven will not cover you, but the armies of darkness will descend. The demons who circle you even now will not merely whisper in your ear, they will consume. They wait for one thing: your refusal. One no, one shrug of indifference, one more delay, and they will have legal ground to bind you further, to darken your path until even light feels like an offense to your eyes. Do you know what I have seen from the battlefield of eternity? I have seen destinies strangled before they could breathe. I have seen souls marked with brilliance, buried under addictions, distractions, and sin. I have seen children of light turn into prisoners of fire because they believed the lie of someday. And I tell you, your life is surrounded by watchers, unseen, but very real. They study your weaknesses. They test your patience. They craft subtle traps tailored to your exact wounds. Nothing they set against you is random. It is targeted, personal,
specific, and if you walk blind, you will stumble into their snare again and again until the snare becomes your coffin. But hear this also. Heaven has not abandoned you. Even now the hosts stand ready. I, Michael, with legions at my back, await your decision. The king has commanded that you be warned and warned again, because mercy still extends its hand. If you bend your heart, if you fall to your knees, if you cry out for the one who shed blood to redeem you, then the tides will turn instantly. In a single moment, angels will descend like fire, chains will shatter, and your enemies will scatter in terror. The death that once accused you will be transformed into testimony. But do not mistake mercy for weakness. This is not a game. Every second you hesitate is a second the adversary claims more ground. Even now, I see the demons plotting futures for you. Futures of despair, futures of compromise, futures where you look back years from now with nothing but regret, haunted by the faces of those you failed to help, crushed by the weight of your wasted call. And I tell you plainly, if you turn away from this summons, those futures will become your reality. The armies of darkness laugh when you ignore the voice of heaven. They dance when you silence conviction. They celebrate when you drown your unease in entertainment, pleasure, or noise. Do you want to be their spectacle? Do you want your soul, priceless and eternal, to be dragged as their trophy into the abyss? That is where indifference leads. That is where delay delivers you. But if you rise, if you awaken now, oh, the story shifts. Your life will become a battlefield of victory. Instead of chains, you will wear armor. Instead of guilt, you will carry a sword of light. Instead of demons mocking your name, angels will rally at your command, because heaven responds to those who align with the will of the King. And the one who died, the one you could not save, their loss will not be in vain, for your obedience now can snatch others from the same pit. I stand before you not as a gentle whisper, but as a blazing fire, because the hour is desperate. You were chosen to hear this. Out of countless faces, countless lives, this message was placed in front of you. That is not chance. That is not coincidence. That is the hand of God shaking your shoulders and saying, "Wake up before it is too late." The armies of heaven are watching. The court of eternity is listening. The armies of darkness are waiting. And you, yes, you, are the deciding factor. So I thunder this question to your soul. Whose side will you choose?
I, Archangel Michael, now lift the veil further, so you may see what you have refused to see. This is not fantasy. This is not imagination. What I will unfold before you is what already exists. It is not someday. It is not maybe. It is not if. It is written. It is real. It is unfolding in parallel with your choices. You wonder why I speak with such weight, why my voice burns with urgency, why my sword of truth cuts so sharply. It is because you are walking on the threshold of two possible destinies, one glorious, one horrifying, and in this moment of listening, you still have the power to decide which becomes your eternity. Few are given the privilege to see both roads. Fewer still live after refusing the vision. So listen with trembling, for heaven does not waste warnings. The first vision, the path of rejection. You sit in silence, perhaps thinking, this is too much, this is emotional, this is unnecessary. And with those thoughts you close your heart, you delay, you walk away. And then time passes, days blur, weeks vanish. You return to the rhythm of distraction, work, entertainment, pleasure, busyness. You silence the unease by drowning it with noise. But in the unseen realm, your delay is a declaration. Every "not now" is a yes to the enemy. Every shrug is a handshake with the abyss. And so the shadows around you grow bolder. At first you do not notice. Small compromises slip in. A little more anger here, a little less conviction there. You keep secrets, you justify, you excuse. The demons laugh, for they know the pattern. They need not destroy you instantly. They only need you comfortable, numbed, distracted, until you are so deep that you cannot find the exit. Years later you awaken, but too late. Regret consumes you. Your heart, once soft, is now like stone. Conviction, once sharp, now feels foreign. And when death comes, whether by sudden accident or slow fading breath, you step across the threshold unprepared. Then comes the terror. The light departs. You hear laughter, not human, but guttural, mocking, endless. Chains of accusation wrap around you. Every sin you justified now rises as testimony against you. The voices say, you had your chance, you heard the warning, you laughed, you delayed, you rejected. And then the descent begins. You are dragged into a place where screams never fade, where fire does not consume but burns forever, where memory torments you like a knife. Memory of the moment you heard my voice and still turned away. I tell you with no hesitation, this is not a story, this is not symbolism. I, Michael, who war against the serpent and his armies, have seen the pit, I have heard the cries, I have smelled the sulfur, I have felt the weight of eternal despair. And I assure you, you do not want to stand there. You do not want to taste it. You do not want to gamble your soul in the name of delay. But now, let me show you the other side. Suppose in this moment you fall to your knees. Suppose you bow your head and whisper with trembling lips, Jesus, I cannot delay any more. Save me. That single cry ignites a war in the heavens. Do you know what happens? I will tell you. Instantly, demons scatter in terror. The grip they once had is broken like glass. The chains shatter. Your name, once dragged through the mud of sin, is lifted before the throne of the Almighty. The King stands not with judgment, but with open arms, saying, At last my child returns. Then angels, my legions, rally to your side. Every step you take is now guarded. The very atmosphere around you begins to shift. Where there was heaviness, there is lightness. Where there was despair, there is peace. Where there was emptiness, there is fire. And though the enemy still tries, he finds no grip, because you are marked, covered in the blood of the Lamb, sealed by the Spirit, protected by heaven. Your life, once ordinary, becomes extraordinary. Words you speak pierce hearts. Actions you take ripple into eternity. You touch one person, and they are saved. They touch another, and the chain spreads. Soon dozens, hundreds, even thousands are snatched from the same abyss that once waited for you. And when the day of your final breath comes, you do not fear, you do not tremble. Instead, you see light, brighter than the sun, pure beyond description. And then you hear it, the voice of the King. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy prepared for you. And then, oh, the glory! Angels surround you. Joy erupts. You step into a kingdom where tears are erased, where pain has no memory, where time does not exist, where every longing is fulfilled in the presence of the Eternal One. This is not fantasy. This is not wishful thinking. This is the reward promised to those who choose life, those who do not harden their hearts when heaven calls. The decision now. So here you stand, caught between two visions. Do you see why I thunder with urgency? Do you understand why my voice burns with warning? It is because eternity is not tomorrow. It is not later. It is one breath away, one heartbeat, one decision, and you are making it now. Even as I speak, the heavens lean close, the armies of light wait, the demons crouch, waiting for your indifference, and the King himself watches. You cannot escape this crossroads. Neutrality is a myth. You either bow or you resist. You either surrender or you reject. There is no middle ground. So I ask you, with all the authority of heaven behind my voice, which destiny will you choose?
I, Archangel Michael, stand before you one last time. The time for delay is over. The hourglass has nearly emptied. I have shouted, I have warned, I have revealed the traps, the chains, the unseen forces that wait for hesitation. And still, some hearts falter. But this is your final call. The one who died, the soul whose life was stolen in part because of your inaction, now stands in heaven and cries out, not in anger, but in mercy. Their voice pierces eternity. Let them not follow my path, let them rise. You have seen the two visions, the path of rejection, the path of surrender. You have heard of the traps, the lies, the distractions, the comparisons, the guilt, the isolation, the delay. You have been given the weapons, prayer, the word, discernment, obedience, action. Now all is in your hands. No more warnings, no more reminders, no more second chances. Heaven has leaned close, and the enemy has crouched, ready to devour. This is the moment that decides your eternity and the eternity of others tied to your life. I tell you, if you ignore this, darkness will circle, and you will feel the weight of every soul you could have saved, but did not. If you close your heart, the regrets will scream louder than any voice you have ever known. If you delay, the chains will tighten, and you will stumble into a destiny of pain, isolation, and torment. But if you choose now, if you surrender fully, if you cry out with trembling, if you lift your eyes to the one who is able to save, everything changes. Angels will rush to your side, the enemy will flee, chains will break. Your life, once ordinary, becomes a battlefield of victory. You will rise as the warrior of light, the breaker of chains, the one who turned tragedy into salvation for countless others. Do you feel the urgency? Do you hear the echo of that lost soul calling for you? Do you feel the pressure of eternity on your shoulders? This is not exaggeration. This is reality. Heaven waits. Heaven is poised, and the time is right now. I, Michael, command you, rise, pray, speak, obey, act, choose life, choose light, choose to stand, and do not delay another heartbeat. The heavens are watching. The angels are ready. The King awaits your cry. Do not fail again. Your eternity and the eternity of those connected to you hinges on this moment. If you believe in God, type Amen.